We're all getting pretty used to AI that can chat or summarize a long article, maybe draft an email. But what if an AI could do more? A lot more. What if it could actually pursue a mission, figure out its own steps, and learn from its mistakes along the way? Well, that's what we're diving into. Let's see what it takes to go beyond a simple AI and build a true intelligent agent.
So think about the AI you interact with every day. Let me ask you this. Is it just a chatbot? Because most of them are, right? You give it a prompt, it spits out a response. It's a one-and-done kind of deal. But an agent is something totally different. It's designed from the ground up to be active, to take initiative, and to go after a goal all on its own.
And this is the core loop of what makes an agent tick. It doesn't just sit there waiting for you. It's given a mission, and from that mission, it starts scanning its environment for information. It thinks about what to do next, and then it acts. But here's the real kicker. That last step, it improves. It looks at what happened and learns from it so it can do better next time. It's this constant proactive cycle.
So here's the game plan. We're going to build an intelligent agent right here, from the ground up. First, we'll see how to move beyond the basic chatbot by giving it awareness. Then, we'll give it the power to actually think and act. After that, we'll look at how multiple agents can team up to tackle really complex problems. And finally, the most exciting part, we'll explore how an agent can actually evolve and learn all by itself.
All right, so what's the very first step in leaving the simple chatbot behind? It's actually not about making the AI model bigger, it's about making it smarter, by making it more aware. And that awareness begins with the information it can access. This is where a concept called context engineering comes in, and it's super important. Think of it like this. If you were briefing a human assistant for a task, you wouldn't just give them a single sentence, right? No way. You'd give them all the relevant emails, background docs, access to the tools they need. You're building a rich informational environment for them. That's exactly what context engineering does for an AI. And this idea, honestly, it's a complete game changer. It means the race for better AI isn't just about building bigger and bigger models. The real secret weapon, the real leverage, comes from getting better at feeding them the right information at the right time. A smaller model with amazing context can totally outperform a giant one that's just flying blind. Okay, so now our agent is aware. It has access to the information it needs. But, just being aware isn't enough. The next crucial step is to give it a spark. That ability to take all that awareness and turn it into actual reasoning and, well, real-world action. And here you can literally see how an agent's thinking has evolved. Over on the left, you've got something called chain of thought. It's kind of like the AI's internal monologue. It thinks through all the steps first, one by one. But on the right, you have react, which is way more dynamic. The agent thinks, okay, I need to book a flight. Then it acts. It searches for flights. Then it observes the results, the prices. And that observation fuels its next thought and its next action. It's this constant, powerful loop of reason, act, observe.
But let's pause on that word, act. It's a big deal. I mean, how does a piece of software, actually do something in the real world? The answer is incredibly simple, but it is the absolute key to making agents useful. It uses tools.
Tools are basically the agent's hands. They're what let its internal reasoning connect with the outside world. This could be a web search tool to get live data, a calculator tool to do math, or even an API tool that lets it actually book that flight or order that pizza. This is the bridge from just thinking to doing.
So a single agent with tools is powerful, no doubt. But the real magic, the really mind-blowing stuff, happens when you start building entire systems where multiple agents can work together. Let's see how that's done.
The simplest way to get agents to collaborate is with something called prompt chaining. The best way to think about it is like an assembly line. You take a big, complex task and you break it down into a series of smaller, focused steps. The first agent does its part, and its output becomes the input for the second agent, and so on down the line.
But an assembly line is, it's linear. It's one thing after another. What if some of the tasks aren't dependent on each other? That's where we can bring in parallelization. Instead of one agent handing off to the next, you can have a whole team of agents working on different parts of the project at the very same time. It's all about speed and efficiency.
And all of this builds up to the holy grail, true inter-agent communication.
Now we're talking about a dynamic network of specialized agents. You could have a research agent that finds information and passes it to an analysis agent, who then delegates the job of writing the final report to a writer agent. They talk, they coordinate, they delegate, just like a highly effective team of human experts.
Okay, now for the final and I think most powerful piece of this whole puzzle. How do we get an agent to go from just executing tasks to actually learning, adapting, and getting better all on its own?
This is done through a pattern called reflection. Imagine a writer agent drafts an email. That's step 1, execute. Then, a whole separate critic agent reads that draft and evaluates it for things like tone and clarity. That's step 2, evaluate. Then the critic sends its feedback back to the writer agent, which uses those notes to create a much better version. That's refined. This loop lets the system literally correct itself.
And check this out, this is not just a theoretical idea. This chart shows the actual performance of something called Sika, a self-improving coding agent. That line going up and to the right, that's its performance score. I mean, think about what's happening there. The agent is analyzing its own work, literally rewriting its own source code to fix its flaws, and getting objectively, measurably better at its job, cycle after cycle.
So, we have built an agent that's aware, that can act, that can collaborate with other agents, and that can even learn from its mistakes. So where does this all lead? What does the future actually look like?
Well, the path forward points to some pretty incredible places. We're talking about agents that offer deep personalization, maybe even anticipating our needs before we do. We're looking at embodied agents, AI that isn't just on a screen but can control robots in a factory or a self-driving car. And ultimately, this could all lead to a brand new agent-driven economy, where autonomous agents are running businesses and trading with each other.
And that brings us to one last thought. We are right on the cusp of having truly proactive, intelligent partners. So the real question isn't just what these agents can do, but what we're going to ask them to do. If you had an agent capable of planning, acting, and learning, what great challenge would you give it to solve?